Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Chike Onyia Speaks live talk show. My name is Chike Onyia, and it's good to be back. I was gone for a little while, but hey guys, I'm back. I'm back on the show, and I'm fired up today. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? One of the reasons why I'm excited is because my wife is here, the most important human being on the face of this planet. People always ask me, why are you always talking about your wife? Well, if you're joining the show, you need to know the purpose of this show, touching one life and one family at a time. Well, Dr. Azuka, my wife, has touched my life. So when we talk about, I'm the first beneficiary of the purpose and the mission of this show. This woman has touched my life, and a welcome and good evening to the most amazing person on this planet. How you doing, honey?
I'm doing good, and you've touched my life too.
You don't,
Good evening, everyone.
you don't sound so excited about that. It's like, yeah, Chike, okay, I'm just going to reciprocate that. Yeah, you touched my life, you know what I'm saying? But that's fine. She's not as comical as I am and dramatic, you know. But anyway, she really means that, you know. Anyway, so good evening. And wherever you're joining in from, let's start with Los Angeles, California, where we lived. I lived for 22 years. My wife and I lived in LA for many years. Want to welcome LA. New York City, where my kids want to welcome you to the show. My mother is in Los Angeles. Welcome, Mom, if you're tuning in. To all of our audience all around the world. Let's go to Nairobi, Kenya. Yaoundé, Cameroon. Accra, Ghana. Let's bring it back home to Lagos. Lagos. Oh, London. Yes, London, where we have siblings. We have siblings. Yeah, we have Verisa in London. We have our friends in London. Tinuke is in London. And I'm sure Tinuke, shout out to Federal Government College, Kano. Federal Government College, Odogbolu, my classmates, 1983 class, Fego class. Angela, my sister, is in London. That's right. So many people all around the world. To Lagos, Nigeria, where we're broadcasting from right here in Oniru. Victoria Island, Lagos. We want to say hello to you. To Meduguri in the north. Hello, right? Let's go to the southeast. Enugu, Udi, my own village. You're welcome. To Anambra State, Abatete, where my wife is from. Let's come to the southwest, Ibadan, right? Abeokuta, Odogbolu, South, Delta, right? I mean, we're all over the place, guys. We want to welcome you. It's so good to be back. I hope I'm not missing any part of Nigeria, Wazobia, right? I hope I'm not. Am I, honey?
It's Delta and South.
Delta is South now. Okay, Port Harcourt, right? Let's go to Port Harcourt, right? Bayelsa, yes, so Bayelsa is in the house. We're welcoming everybody on the show. Thank you guys for joining us. And today on the show, we're closing our theme for the month of August. We've been talking about, you know, teenagers, and today we're talking about parenting teens, helping them to build self-esteem and self-confidence. Oh my gosh, how could I have forgotten that? Oh, I'm gonna hit myself on there. Listen, August 27th was my wife's birthday, and we celebrated it. Awesome. She got calls from all over the world, you know. Honey, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Oh my God, I didn't know I could sing.
Well, thank God you talk. But thank you anyway.
Thank God I make my money talking, not singing, huh? Oh my God, you know, right. Happy birthday, honey. I wish you many more years, great health, long life, and that God will answer the desires of your heart in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Amen. Back to the show, right? Okay, so tonight, you know, the kids have gone back to school, or they're just going back to school. Ifeoma, our daughter, is 13. She starts school, you know, next month, September. She's a teenager, you know. So this talk today is for parents who are listening, teenagers, uncles and aunties, grandparents who are listening, guardians, mentors. The question is, how do you help your teenager build self-esteem and confidence? How do you do that, you know? And that's what we're going to be talking about on the show today. And, you know, just as we start, I started to think about myself as a teenager. I had to go back memory lane to ask myself, you know, what? And I was very confident as a teenager, extremely confident. Bullets could not shoot me, man. Not talk about
Okay, let me
it.
stop you right there. So, you were extremely confident.
Yeah, so
So how do you distinguish confidence with cockiness?
I know you were going to go there, right? Because
or arrogance.
yeah,
you
some
know?
people thought I was a bit arrogant and cocky, right? So you see, let's talk about that. So for teenagers out there, there's a big difference between confidence and being cocky or arrogant. Let me tell you a couple of ways you can distinguish that. The arrogant person looks down on others. Their statements are condescending, the way they talk. They say things like, I'm better than you, right? So in their language, in their body line, their mannerisms, they basically put you down. A confident person will not say that. A confident person will make you feel good and remain adequate in themselves. That's how confidence is. The second thing about arrogant people is that they want to be noticed every time. They want to take the shine everywhere they go, right? So an arrogant person comes in the room, they want the focus to be on them immediately. The confident person has humility. They have panache. They come in, they may be the last person to speak. But when they open their mouth, there's this aura around them, right? So they don't look to be noticed. They're so confident, they're so reassured in themselves that they notice themselves. They don't need anybody. They don't need your accolades. And that's the definition of self-esteem. Teenagers that have self-esteem, they have this sense of value and worth. They have this intrinsic sense of value. I am worthy. I'm worthy. I have this intrinsic value. I'm a human being created by God, and I am somebody. That's self-esteem. Self-confidence is then, so there's a difference there. Self-esteem is about your worth and your value. Self-confidence is then knowing that you have the capacity, the capability, the ability, and the belief therein to deliver. So a confident teenager will study hard and tell you, I'll totally ace the exam. I'll ace that exam. Because they've studied hard, and in prepping for that exam, they build capacity. And they will tell you, I'm ready. I will kill.
They announce it in the class?
No,
they say it to themselves.
No, they say it to themselves. They will announce. Now, the arrogant person will announce it. That's the difference. The arrogant person will come in and say, Omo, I will smash this exam, and when I don't go see my back, I'm going to beat you on this exam. I'm going to get the highest grade, and you're going to be behind me. That's what the arrogant teenager will say. But the confident teenager would say back to themselves, I know my classmates are in this exam hall, I respect all of them, I value them, but internally, the teenager is going to say, I'm going to kill it, and I'm going to be at the top of the class, but they won't announce it.
Okay, so let's go to the first distinction that you made, which is, the speech.
Right.
How they talk. The confident teenager would not put someone down.
Right.
No, but rather would build them up. So, sometimes it's not about what you say. I know, a lot of these bourgeois rich schools, children come to school, their parents bring them to school, or their drivers bring them to school in the flashiest of cars. Some of these teenagers come to school with mopos all over the place. They are not saying anything. They've not said a word.
Right.
They've just come in a limo, in a G-Wagon, in a whatever you want to, you're the one that knows cars.
Yeah, the Range Rover,
yes,
the Rolls Royce.
Yes, all those fancy cars. They've not said anything.
Right.
Yet, when the next kid comes with a Toyota Corolla or Camry,
yes,
or even a modest looking what are the cars out there now? A little Fortuna.
Yes, a Toyota Fortuna, right?
A Toyota Fortuna.
Right.
And then the kid that comes in a Rolls Royce does not even look at the one that came in or they don't invite you to their parties. You are necessarily come to the school environment. Not a lot of parents see the way their children interact.
Right.
We need to let parents know that those types of things happen. So you may not consciously be raising a cocky child.
Yeah.
But you just may.
Yeah. Actually, our own children have experienced that. I know that the school they used to, I know Chike told me that once. And we had a car that used to take them to school and bring them back. And it wasn't the Rolls Royce, it wasn't a Range Rover.
Yeah, what was it?
I think it was a Toyota 4Runner. Yes, a Toyota 4Runner, right? And he actually said that. He said, you know, these kids will, you know, the kids are pulling up and there's mobile police everywhere. It's a Range Rover and the Land Cruisers, and some kids actually make fun of them, you know, and you know, they I don't think they like that very much. But as Chike's dad, you know, it struck me that, you know, kids go through stuff like that. It's the peer pressure you talked about, you know, weeks ago on the show. And, you know, it ties back to two things. Number one, parents need to be careful and conscious about that. You know, what values are you instilling in your children? Yeah, if you're very wealthy, should the child come to a school in Rolls Royce? Should they come in some of these big expensive cars? I don't know. Maybe that's the
Okay, so how do you handle that for Chike?
No, I mean, my children from day one, we've always talked about having a sense of core values. You have to have your values. You have to know who you are, right? And I've always taught each child here that you are first your values. Your values build your self-esteem. Your values give you contentment in life, right? So we had to talk about that. And I said to them, son, I said to Chike, I think Chidera was there, and maybe even Rayma, right? Because they were in the same school, three of them at the same time, and they were all picked up at the same time, the driver and, you know, everybody. And I said to them, see, yeah, the things that really make you who you are, and this may sound like cliche, and, you know, there may be parents listening to me and wondering, Chike, leave that thing. They may even laugh at me on the show today, but I'm not worried about that because it's somebody's life I'm going to touch tonight. This may sound like cliche. The truth is that the material things of the world never should define who we are. The material things of the world should never define us. Are those things nice to have? Absolutely. Why not? It's good to have a Range Rover. Nothing wrong, I have a problem with that. I love the Range Rover. But should our children really be coming to school in those vehicles? I don't know about that, right? For the kids, like my kids who were not driven to school in a Range Rover, what I taught them as their father is that your value system, things like godliness, gratitude, family, right, hard work, they're the things that should define you, not the material things of the world. Those cars, the houses, they come and go. They're good to have, but they're not really the things that make you who you are. The things that really define you as a teenager will be your character. That's why the Bible, I love the Bible with all my heart. It says a good name is better than silver and gold, right? The apostles, the disciples said, silver and gold we don't have, but what we have is the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. And I know that's a tough sell in a world where social media, you know, the kids are always seeing social media, they're in school, the way their peers are dressed and all that. But that's the role of parents, to sit like the way we've sat with our children week in, week out, weekend in, weekend out. And yet they still have to face that in school. So the way I dealt with it was to sit with my kids and to say to them, let's talk about that. I acknowledge the way you felt. You looked at kids when we have loved, you guys are in a Toyota 4Runner or whatever. It was a Jeep, you know, but for them, it was a Toyota 4Runner Jeep, but
it wasn't black.
That wasn't a black Range Rover or a Land Cruiser. There was no mobile police there.
It was
No, it wasn't ugly, right? It wasn't an ugly car. Honey. Why are you going to add pepper and sugar into it?
It was an ugly car.
Okay, it's ugly. All right.
The
Anyway,
key thing is that I think, you know, one of the things that we taught our kids is, like you said, you know, material things don't define who you are, and the fact that, you know, they needed to, you know, achieve something for themselves, you know, outside of the material things that were there. Every now and there was a reason why they were taken to school in the 4Runner, as at the time that they were taken, you know, to school in the 4Runner. But it wasn't a habit. You know, the other car was out for service or something, because you still need to not embarrass your kids, you know, if you can afford it. You know, that's why, you know, in choosing the type of school that you send your kids to, you should also think about the overall value system of the school. And that's why I prefer schools where the children wear school uniforms.
Right.
Because there is a standard, you know, and throughout the day, even if you came in a Forerunner or you came in a Land Cruiser or a Rolls Royce, it's a 2-minute ceremony. You're dropped off, then what? You're in school for the next 8-10 hours. If everybody is now on a level playing field, we all look alike, we're all wearing the same thing.
Right.
And the school was pretty strict, you
Right.
know, with haircuts, you know, with a specific type of shoes. And if you were not dressed to the, you know, in accordance with the uniform of the school,
Right.
they will call your parents to come and take you back. In fact, the teachers stand there at the car park as you're alighting from your Rolls Royce. If you are not properly dressed in that uniform manner, the Rolls Royce will carry you back home.
Yeah, sure. I've seen that.
So that exposure to all the razzmatazz, because you can't really control everything, it's just for a few minutes. Then the children need to define themselves as how they carry themselves in school, how they do well in sports, in academics, you know, in leadership. And you know, our son Chike went ahead to become the head boy, and all those
Oh my God.
Rolls
That's the
Royce
irony of
local,
life, isn't it?
Kids, they all had to defer to him at the end of the day, because he distinguished himself outside of the material things that, you know, his parents had to offer. You know, so for me, you know, little things like that go a long way towards helping a child build their confidence by themselves. Just that uniformity is, your parents have dropped you, we are all now together, everybody looks the same.
The same.
As opposed to some schools, especially outside of this country, where there are no uniforms. You know, you can wear anything you like.
Right.
You know, you can have any kind of hairstyle. You can have any kind of you know, of shoes and bags and all that. So it brings a lot of pressure.
Yeah, on the kids.
Yeah, on the children.
Anyway, so it was a turnaround story. It was fantastic. Chike ended up being the head boy in that school. And like my wife said, that's Chike, our son, Onyia Jr., became their head boy in that school. And everybody else had to kind of line up behind him. He was the #1 student in that same school, right? So very proud of our children. We're going to take a break. Listen, I want to tell you about our YouTube channel. You know, I would want you to subscribe to the channel. Just follow us. Go to Chike Onyia, look for that on YouTube, and subscribe. What will happen is that once this show starts every Friday at 7 p.m., it's going to notify you, right? We have videos on YouTube. When we come back, we'll tell you about some other pages on IG and Facebook and all that. But the YouTube page is a page we want you to go and subscribe to. So just check it out and just press that subscribe button, right? Again, this is the Chike Onyia Speaks Live Talk Show. Our purpose here is to touch one life, one family at a time. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 60 seconds. All right, welcome back to the show and good evening to you. My name is Chike Onyia. This is the Chike Onyia Speaks live talk show. On the show today, we're talking about parenting teenagers and helping them build self-esteem and confidence. In a moment, we're going to open up the phone lines. But there's something I want to say that is also important. Apart from instilling the right values in your child, and I like what you said, honey. After that Rolls Royce has dropped them and the forerunners of the world have dropped them, everybody's on the same playing field. And when the children get into the real world, we're all on the same playing field. It doesn't matter who your father is. It doesn't matter how wealthy your parents are. Look, we're all going to compete on that same playing field. The other thing, apart from these core values that children must have, is that parents have to spend time speaking into their spirit. There's a man I know, Cosmos Madoka of Koscharis. What I understand from reading his biography is that he lost his father at 4. He lost his father when he was 4 years old. This Cosmos Madoka of Koscharis, right? Koscharis Motors. And as I read his biography, I remember reading where he said his mother will always tell him, son, you're going to be great. Son, you're going to do awesome things in life. Son, you're going to do awesome. You're going to be a great man. So there's just something about, he lost his father at 4, so he didn't have that experience of having a father in his life. But the one parent he had was able to speak confidence and build Cosmos Madoka's, esteem and value. Today, the guy is a multi-billionaire. If you read about him, you're going to see, you'll be very, very inspired by Cosmos Madoka's story. Honestly, So there's this thing about parents really spending time. And I know for you and I, Ifoma, our last child, she's the one that is home now. We spend a lot of time talking, sitting with her for hours sometimes, especially on Sundays. We sit and we talk to her, try to instill that confidence and build her self-esteem, right?
And in addition to what you said, also reaffirming a teenager as well is very important. And what I mean by reaffirming is, let's say you've given that teenager a task to do.
Right.
They may not get it 100%, but at least they made an effort. They tried.
Right.
It may not be perfect. A lot of us parents are used to being very critical, maybe because of the nature of our jobs or how we grew up, But with the children of nowadays, if you want to get the best out of them, you need to reaffirm them when they've put in work, they've put in effort. That wanting to elicit perfection from them all the time, is going to be counterproductive.
I get it.
So Cosmos Madoka's mom speaking into his spirit and telling him he'll be great, it's not because he was faffing around. He must have been doing something.
Right.
And the little efforts that he was making, as the mother could see, the mother kept reaffirming that, this boy, you've moved this from here to here, you can do great. So when you appreciate, the little efforts that have been made, the person will be inspired and motivated to even do more. Right.
Plus, that's a great point. Plus, complimenting them. Even their physical appearance, when they look good. Oh, you look great. I love your hair. Or son, I know our son Chidera is very concerned about his hair and all that. Son, your hair looks great. You look good, things like that. So, teenagers want that. They want that affirmation. They want words of praise. When they look good, let them know. And don't body shame them. Some parents tell their kids, you're too fat. I know a woman who is in her, she's old now, 60, 70, and she told me I was depressed when I was younger. She said her father used to mock her and say things about her body shape. Oh, you're fat, or you're this, or you're that. The woman is in her 60s, 70s now. She's still talking about what her father said to her. So we need to be very careful. Imagine the damage you will have done to that young lady's self-esteem and confidence. And that's why sometimes you find people, young women and men, engaging in, illicit behavior. And you're wondering why. Well, because at home they didn't get that affirmation. Rather, they got criticism, even in terms of how they look. We need to be very careful not to criticize our children when it comes to their physical appearance. It's so important.
Yeah, talking about, body shaming and, overweight children.
Right.
One thing that I've learned, of recent, through a lot of research,
right,
is that when you pass a particular weight threshold, right, it affects your health.
Right.
It's not just about looks.
Right.
So that's the mistake a lot of us make, parents and individuals alike.
Right, right.
We think not being overweight is all about how good we look. It's not necessarily so, and you can also go on the opposite end of the spectrum where you're so skinny. It
right.
also affects your health.
Right.
So there is a healthy balance, to people's weights.
Right.
That ensures that they maintain good health.
Right.
I've been doing a lot of research, of late about diabetes, and one of the things that a diabetic is told, when the diagnosis is made is, oh, this is a lifestyle disease, which it is. You need to incorporate exercise. You need to eat healthy, balanced diet.
Right.
You need to lose a lot of weight, especially in the gut.
Right.
So if parents encourage their children that way,
right,
you need to keep your weight down, or you need to gain a little bit more weight.
Right, right.
Because if you're so skinny, it also affects certain aspects of your health.
Yeah.
So if you pitch it to your child that way, being overweight is not good, your body is not able to absorb insulin as it should, you overwhelm your systems, you get sick, you're not going to be able to play like other kids and stuff like that, you're going to be on medication all your life or injections all your life, maybe the kid will listen.
Right.
But if you just say, oh, you're fat and
yeah.
your head is too big, or you are eating like a pig,
right,
you're going to affect the child's mental state.
Health. Yeah,
and then they would not, you still won't achieve, the
absolutely.
objective.
Absolutely. So I think we need to go to the phone lines. Let's welcome those on social media. I see Almataz Lillian, I hope I'm getting it right, but sometimes even with uniforms, right, we still have things like fancy bags and pencil cases that could cause a lot of comparison too. I think another important thing is to teach our kids contentment. Absolutely. And one of in this family, in our family, one of our core values is contentment. You need to be content, and that's something parents have to teach their children very early in life. Don't compare yourself to the Joneses, right? You're not that family. You're not that person. You don't know their history. You don't know where they're coming from, right? You be yourself. Be happy with who you are. Work hard to achieve your goals in life. And hey, make do with what you have in life. Be happy with what you have, right? So contentment is key. Lawal Moshud Kayode says, good evening, sir. You're very welcome, right? There's also good evening, man. I tell people, Lawal, thank you so much, but please do me a favor. Anytime we're greeting, make una greet my wife first. I give una permission. Let me speak broken English. When you greet, I'm so grateful for you guys greeting me first. I really appreciate that. But can I say, please, greet the chairman first. Greet my wife first. I come second. I'm a servant leader. Yes, I'm the leader in the Onyia home, but I serve. Even Jesus was a servant. How do I know? He washed the feet of his disciples before hanging on the cross, right? So Halimat Lawa says, good evening, sir and ma. So Halimat, please, next time it's good evening, ma and sir. I know that's countercultural, but I'm giving you permission. Don't worry. She says, happy birthday in arrears, ma Azuka, Dr. Azuka Onyia, right? Excellent. We're going to open up the phone lines. Honey, you want to tell them the phone lines? Let's talk to the audience.
If you'd like, we'd like to hear from you actually. So the phone lines to call is 091 6000 2661, 091 6000 2662. And if you're calling from outside the country, you can dial us via WhatsApp. It's plus 234 91 6000 2663. I'll repeat those phone numbers.
Yeah,
again.
sure. Go ahead.
091 6000 2661, 091 6000 2662, and plus 234 91 6000 2663.
Right, and we want to hear from you. I mean, if you were a teenager, you know, how did you build self-esteem and confidence? If you're a parent out there, what strategies have you used to help your children build self-esteem and confidence? You know, it's so important. I was just thinking about, do we have a call? Hello, good evening. Okay, not yet. You know, I started thinking about, hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. This is Lawal Alimat calling from Lagos.
Hi, Halimat, how are you? Can you speak up? We can't hear you.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you're not very clear. Maybe it's a network. You're not very clear. Maybe try hanging up, call back. Halimat Lawal says contentment, I'm reading now, is the guide. Even till adulthood, if you want happiness. Contentment is so important in our lives. It really is.
Yeah, I do want to, I do want to say, a thing or two about the
Hello.
comment.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
ma'am, sir.
Hello. Yes, good evening. Who's calling?
Yeah, this is Lawa Manchester.
Yeah, Lawal Moshud, thank you so much. He corrected that. He says, good evening, ma and sir. So very quickly, Lawal, you're my man, no? Maybe I will give you, I'm going to send you a cash gift. I like that. The guy corrected it right away. Yes, you will send your account number. The network. No.
Thank you very much.
No, it's their network. Lawal, we can't hear you very well. So sorry, but you're going to get a cash gift from me. You've put good evening, ma and sir. I love that. I love it when people, honor my wife, right? I love that.
So before the phone call came, I was going to make a comment, or say a thing or two about the person who made the comment about pencil cases and bags.
You're going to pick up on that, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to pick
pencil
up on that.
Cases and bags.
Our kids, especially the girls, they are big on pencil cases. The boys are big on sneakers. If you can afford it, there's nothing wrong with that. We should spoil our kids every now and then. God is faithful to us. He lavishes us with his love and even with material gifts as well. So if you can, indulge, the children on that.
Right.
Even handbags, there are all these handbags with all these cartoon characters and action figures that the boys, they liked and all that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
The thing though is that as you buy it, you need to teach the kid. I'm giving you this because you did well in school or you're a good kid, you help with the chores at home, and not because the next kid has it. But should we deprive our children of certain perks and benefits, just because we're trying to teach them contentment?
Right.
No.
Okay, we get it. That puts things in the corner. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening, ma and sir.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma and sir.
Yes, good evening.
This is Lawal Alimat from Lagos.
Yes, Lawal Halimat is also going ma and sir. From me, you will get a cash gift as well. You will send your account number. Yes, anybody that honors my wife today. Yeah, go ahead. This internet now, wow.
Is this internet?
It's the internet. I don't know the network, what's going on. We're not... are you sure, production team, is it from our end or from their end? Okay, they hung up. Yeah, but honey, let's hop on your point. I really like that point. So, you're not buying the fancy pencil case or the fancy sneakers, the Nike Michael Jordan sneakers or whatever. because the other kid has it. And children are like that sometimes. Oh, mommy, daddy, everybody's wearing this in my class, so I'm going to wear it, right? The point you're making is, no, that's not why we're going to get it. That's not the way life works. If you're watching this and you're a teenager or a parent, you know that as a parent. Life is not like that. There are things, there's always going to be somebody richer than you with more material wealth. There's a Bill Gates, but there's Elon Musk. Those guys are struggling for who is the wealthiest, right? So there's always going to be somebody that has more than you, right?
Prettier than you,
Somebody
more
prettier than you, more handsome,
taller than you.
taller, more homes, more cars. What are you going to do?
Smarter
Go
than
kill
you.
yourself? You're going to lead a miserable life on planet Earth if you lack contentment. So I like what you said. We buy those things because we can afford them. God lavishes us with his love. Why not? If I have the money, I'm going to buy it. But I'll buy it because, like for Ifoma, because you got all A's. Ifoma, you're going to then have A, B, C. Not because everyone. So, and we need to teach the children that. You need to teach, you know. The other day you were complaining about so many things that we were not taught as young people. You know, the educational system is not comprehensive enough. Even our parents, we love them to death. They did their best. But in this modern era, with social media, with artificial intelligence, with all the information at our fingertips, parents don't have any excuse not to teach their children these things. There are YouTube videos. There's so much information out there that you cannot feign ignorance. You can't argue, I didn't know better. Just this evening, I was talking to Chike, my son, you know, and I was telling him about my own life experience when I was younger, some of the mistakes I made, right? And I was telling him that as his father, I was going to use my own life to teach him to make, you know, certain decisions and avoid some of the pitholes or the potholes or whatever you want to call it, right? So that's parenting for you. And that's another thing. You want to help a child build self-esteem and self-confidence. The parent has to be vulnerable. You tell the kid where you failed. You tell the kid where you struggled with even self-esteem and self-confidence issues yourself. Don't paint the picture like your own teenage years were all perfect. It's not true. The more, in fact, Chike, our son, said, Daddy, the best way you and my mom have taught me is by being vulnerable, telling me about your life, your failures, your mistakes, your experiences, and just modeling the way. Is better than any book you've bought me or anything you want to tell me. That's what he told me this evening. So, if you want to help a child build self-esteem and self-confidence, you got to talk about your own failures, your own mistakes, and how you struggled, right?
Okay. So you talked about grades, you know.
Grades?
You know, former getting all A's and all that. You know, a parent may have a child that, you know, is not academically inclined. You know, it's the role of a parent to know that child, know what makes that child tick, and help that child develop that. You know, so you have to expose your children to many things.
Right.
You know, there are some teenagers now that are very wealthy all by playing video games.
Right.
Other kids watch them play video games on YouTube. You know, they are called YouTubers.
Those guys are making a lot of money.
They
man.
make a lot of money. You know, some kids are good with, you know, at singing. Some kids are good at playing a musical instrument. Some kids are good at sport. Some kids are good at acting. You know, art, drawing.
Right,
A friend of mine, you know, showcased his son earlier this week on our, you know, secondary school WhatsApp group. His father is a lawyer, and the boy looks exactly like his father. But the boy is an artist; he paints, but he's very good at it.
Right.
You know, so we as parents, you know, to boost your child's self-confidence, invest time in that child, find out what the child is good at, and encourage and work with that child to develop that skill. So when the child goes to school and they are calling, you know, they have speech and prize giving day, and you know, some kids take all the prizes, You know, you can tell your child, and your kid doesn't
take any prize, right?
He may be the best dancer in school.
Right.
And he may end up being the richest.
Hey, Michael Jackson, eh? Yeah.
You know, he may be the best singer, he may be the best artist. The Olympic Games just ended in France, in Paris, last month.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't an academic exercise. It was a
sporting event.
Yes, it was a sporting exercise. People had physical.
I love that.
Skills and all that.
Right,
somebody nurtured that, and a lot of those Olympic medalists, they started training them and practicing from when they were kids.
Yeah, I love it.
And now we are all shouting that Nigeria did not win any medal. You know, when someone is 50 years old, that's when the person will now start learning how to run. Meanwhile,
that's
the
funny.
countries that you're competing against,
they started in there. Hello, good evening. Sorry, honey.
A long time ago.
Sorry, honey. Excuse me. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
This is better. Tell us your name. Where you're calling from?
My name is Chike. I'm calling from Enugu State.
Really? All the way from Enugu State, our state, Enugu, Ibokwen.
Yeah.
Yes, so you're welcome, my brother. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay. I would like to acknowledge the chairman.
Oh, you want to acknowledge the chairman? Everybody's acknowledging chairman, no? Since Chibike, you have called to acknowledge the chairman, you're getting a cash gift from me. So you will send in your account details. Lawal, Moshood, Halimat, these guys are all getting cash gifts. The number, use our WhatsApp number 0916000 2663. Chibike, send your full name and details. But go ahead, you want to contribute tonight?
I also like to talk on on the topic, to add to the topic.
Please. Yes.
Okay, so I think that building esteem in a child is raising up a child is not an easy task. Most of the time in Nigeria, we pay more attention to the financial aspect of it. It's not like it's not important, but it's important. But there is this emotional side to it. You should learn to know, you should learn to teach your children that they are loved. You should always remind them that they are loved by you, not just money related, but words that you say to them. The words that you say to them are very important to them, very important to their esteem as they grow.
Wonderful.
Helping them to believe in themselves and encouraging them. Because there are families today that you go to and their parents are disappointed for academic reasons, which is not everything to a child. You shouldn't destroy your child's esteem or insult him so much just because of academic reasons or so. So encourage the child, help the child to build himself, to grow up properly.
Wow. Wow. This is amazing. Chibike, thank you so much. I really love his comments.
No problem.
The Chibike, you've done a fantastic job. Please don't forget to leave your account details 091 6000 2663. You're going to get a gift from me for acknowledging the chairman. But even in addition, just your contribution, I really love it. You know what he said that I love? He said, and Nigerian parents, a lot of us were quite culpable and guilty of this. And it's been part of our culture. We've made the emphasis, we've overemphasized the academic piece, the grades. Everybody must be A+. I was just reading about Davido the other day and how, I guess from what I read, his father was trying to push him to go to school and all that. And Davido, wanted to sing and all that. In fact, he went to the same school that arguably, I believe, our son went to, right? So, and look at where Davido is today, right? So, he's international.
He still went to school, though.
He went to school, yes.
He still graduated.
So the father,
he did NYSC.
He did NYSC, but you see, at some point, from what I read, the father bought him this, set up a studio for him somewhere. I can't remember. But the father paid for it. I think from what I read, he made a deal with the dad. Daddy, allow me to sing, get this studio, and I'll go to school and finish. So there was a compromise, a win-win situation. The dad did not say, shut it down or whatever, you're not going to sing and all that. Look at where he is today. The other thing that Chibike said that I really love is that you need to tell your children how much you love them. I really love you. I love you. You're my child, right? And you're going to do great things in life. He said there's the emotional part. Children are emotional creatures, right? You say you go to some homes and all you hear is grades and academic. You know, the grades and academic, they're good. But we need to strike that balance, especially as Nigerian parents. We got to do a better job in that area, right? So I want to encourage us. Halimat says, well, Lawa Moshu says, thank you very much, man, sir, for the gift. More blessings and grace in abundance. Halimat says, good evening, ma and sir. People are catching quickly. My own view, I couldn't contribute because of network, is that contentment is very important. People will surely have more than you. But it is those core values like contentment that will give you happiness and keep you in check as a teen till adulthood. Thank you very much, sir. Well, thank you very much, ma and sir. Good evening. We got a call?
Hello, good evening, ma and sir. I would like to especially greet my Dr. Azuka Onyia. Happy birthday in arrears, man.
Thank you.
What is your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Kende Udwola, calling from Ogun State.
Wow, Kende, you're getting a cash gift today. We're celebrating my wife's birthday. I'm feeling good. I'm like a baller, you know? I'm a baller, right? So I'm giving away money today on behalf of my wife, right? So Kende, you're going to get a cash gift. Go ahead. We want to hear from you.
Thank you very much, sir. She's definitely worth it. May she continue to live long in good health and wealth.
Amen.
Many more years, ma.
Amen.
Then I believe Nigerian parents actually put pressure on their kids. We should put the pressure they put on their kids, remove their self-esteem. It makes the kids lack some self-esteem to some extent. And most parents don't really know this.
Yes, we're with you, Kende. Look at what she just said. She says, most parents don't know this.
Yeah,
Most parents
can she tell us
some believe actually they are correcting the kids. You know, at times when you just said your mates are better than this, look at this. No. I believe most parents should learn to correct with love and build their kids' self-esteem more.
Wow. Comparisons. Look at your classmates. Everybody is doing. We need to be careful. Those words can kill a child's spirit, is what Kende is saying, right? That's what Kende is trying to. Thank you so much. Kende, what part of Ogun State are you calling from?
I'm calling from Shagamu.
Shagamu, very close to Odobolu where I went to school, right? I went to federal government, Federal Government College, Odobolu, 1983 class. Shagamu, we used to pass through Shagamu to get to school. So, yes, thank you. Please leave your account details, 091 6000 2663, and you're going to get a cash gift from Mr. Chike Onyia because you acknowledge, you even prayed for my wife, so God will bless you abundantly. You know, let's go ahead, or you want to?
Yeah, I want to say something about, the whole thing about comparison and the way the system of the world is structured. There is comparison.
Sure.
Okay, if you're going to enter into primary school, you have to take an entrance exam. If you're going to go into secondary school, you have to take an entrance exam. You're going into uni, you have to take an entrance exam. There's JAM, there's WAEC. It's all a grading system where, whether your child likes it or not, they are going to be compared.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even when you graduate from uni and you get into the workplace, there's performance appraisal. You are an HR expert. You design performance appraisal system for organizations. It's a comparison of your performance vis-a-vis that of somebody else. So we need to let our children know that the life is real. You are going to get compared. You need to get used to it. Even if I don't compare you, the world will compare you.
Absolutely.
Nigeria compares itself. Oh, we are the last in this, we are the this in that. In fact, Olympics is a comparison. Who came first, second, and third? Why did they give everybody a medal? That
Absolutely.
So that comparison is not meant to put anybody down. It's meant to reward those who are exceptional.
Right.
And it's meant to encourage those who need to sit up.
Right.
So we need to let our kids know the reality of the world.
Right.
Should you beat them over the head? No. But they need to know that the world is real.
Right.
They are going to compare you whether you like it or not.
Maybe, yeah, and what you're saying is apt and correct. Absolutely, you got to prepare for them because you'll be compared, and you don't want them shocked when they get out.
Yes, you don't want them shocked.
Yeah, that's.
You know, I've had staff that work with me, and even some of my colleagues. Oh, my dad, or my mom never even did this way. They never spoke to me like this. They never did this. Never did that. Welcome to the real world. That's how the world is. Even looking at the world's economy, the GDP of America is this, the GDP of Nigeria. Countries are being compared.
Right.
Continents even cars are being compared.
Right.
Which is the fastest, which consumes more fuel. I think the role of a parent is to equip and enable the children to be able to function within the world system.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've watched the movie on the life of Venus and Serena Williams. How their father coached them into playing tennis. He had to set up, like mock audience, to mock them while they played, to expose them to this is real life. You're black. People are going to laugh at you,
right,
and they're going to make fun of you. You need to just keep your eye on the ball. And those girls ended up being at world number ones for several years on in the world of tennis. So one of the most critical aspects of a parent's life is to help prepare your child on how they would cope with the real world.
Right.
And comparison in itself is not a bad thing. How would you know whether you need to improve if you don't have a benchmark? It's just how you do it.
Yeah, I think it's the way you communicate, which is what the last caller was trying to say. Sometimes parents are very harsh. The way you say it, you kill the child's spirit. Yes. What you're saying is different. What you're saying is you sit with the child one-on-one in a loving way and try to showcase what the real world looks like, right? That's the point you're making, and it's spot on. Halimat says, yes, we are emotional and we need love. Most Nigerian parents just focus only on academic matters, definitely doesn't develop our other talents, right? Daniel Ayomide Olatunji says, good evening, Ma and Sa. Daniel will get a gift as well. You said, building self-confidence and self-esteem from growing as a youth, from a teenager, to me, is understanding that it's okay to be different from others. I like that. It's okay if people find the way I do things different from others. Embracing my unique qualities and building my strengths more on this quality helps me have confidence in myself and also helps me feel content with whatever I have, right? And I think that's what he's saying. He's saying that's something else, and I think you alluded to that already. Every child is unique. Yeah. Every child has a gift. Mm-hmm. Every child has strengths. Mm-hmm. So you said earlier, as Nigerian parents, we need to help them identify those strengths, help them harness the strengths, help them develop the strengths, mm-hmm, and help them play to their strengths. Mm-hmm. The example is Davido. Look at where he is today. At some point, his father aligned with that strength in music, although he demanded that he go to school like he did at NYSC. Look at where that is. So in today's world, there's tennis, there's music, there's
which the father. Sorry to interrupt you. Which the father is not wrong though. You understand?
For doing what?
For insisting.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't say it's wrong, though.
Because
we didn't say that is wrong.
No matter how well Davido sings, if after he finished singing that song, then they interview him, they say, "Oh, okay, he's going." Nobody will listen to music again.
That's right.
That's right. And people will. You live in a society where education is valued.
Yeah, you mean Nigeria. You mean.
Yes, where education is valued. So at the end of the day, you need to be able to understand your music manager. How is he managing your finances? How is he doing stuff? If you're not educated and exposed, you will make a lot of money and all of it will disappear through your music.
That's correct.
There is a balance between what he wanted to do, which he achieved,
Yeah.
And also, you know, his father insisting that he gets a formal, you know,
What we're
education.
saying though is that sometimes Nigerian parents, the
I get
focus,
that.
yes, the
I'm
focus
just trying
is
to-
too much on education.
Yes, I'm just trying to ensure that people still see that there is a balance there.
Definitely. Oh, you have to see that. You know, the balance has to be there, right? So, you know, it's parents. You know, our culture is so. Yeah, we need to learn. We need to strike that balance. I'm really glad Davido's dad allowed him to play his music, and yet insisted that he go to school. I think that's fantastic. That's a great case study right there, the Davido story, you know, because he even went to NYC and finished up, graduated from school, high school, went to university, and then went to NYC. We saw his story on social media when he was in camp and all that. You know, today he's famous and an international brand. So that's just the way life is, right? You need to help the child build self-esteem. Listen, we have to start bringing the show to a close. We want to thank everybody. Daniel, thanks for writing. And Halimat, Lawal, Kende, Chibike, you guys send your account details. You honored my wife. It's her birthday month. You know, she told me the other day, the day after her birthday, she said, forget it. I'm still celebrating my birthday all month of August. I said, but honey, your birthday is over now. I said, it's a lie. So no problem. On this show, I'm continuing to celebrate my wife's birthday. Everybody that called in that honored my wife, either you wrote, you're going to get a cash gift from me. Send your full name, your account details, 091-6000-2663. And God bless you all. I want to thank the audience for listening in from wherever you are. I didn't even know they were listening from Enugu. Chibike, thank you so much. Kende called from, was she the one from Shagamu, right? Mm-hmm. Right, fantastic. Somebody has called from, I think one of our first calls gone. Was it Ogun State? No, I think that was Kende. Anyway, well, somebody else that called, I forget.
Yeah,
all right.
Is it Kolawole?
No, okay, Lawa. Halimat called, but the network was bad.
Moshud.
Moshud is our favorite, one of our favorite callers here. Halimat as well. Thank you guys, Halimat and Moshud, for continually listening to the show. You know, we thank you for being consistent, for being intentional. You know, honey, the show will be there will be no show without the audience. Imagine you and I just talking like this. Who are we talking to? You know, no social media, no audience. So we can't take our audience for granted. We're very, 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 very grateful to you guys. Thank you so much. And we want to say good night. We're going to see you next Friday, same time, 7 p.m. right here. Listen, before you go, our social media handles, there's the YouTube. Honey, can I have that? Let me tell them. There's our YouTube page. It's Chike Onyia, right? The YouTube page is Chike Onyia. In fact, we're launching our Spotify account on Sunday. If you want to learn more about emotional intelligence and resilience, our Spotify account will be launched on this Sunday, September 1st. Just go to Spotify, download the app, look for Chike Onyia, right? And, you know, start to listen to our podcasts on Spotify. It's free. I mean, they don't have to pay for it now. They don't. You just go in and click, and you can listen to a series on. In fact, I started with a series on emotional intelligence. There's resilience. You can start learning. They're in 10-minute buckets. They're not long. You can listen to them, right? And of course, on Facebook, you can follow Chike Onyia Esquire. The show's been on Facebook. We have our Instagram. There's Chike Onyia Instagram, but we also have the Chike Onyia Speaks page on Instagram. That's Chike_Onyia_speaks. Right? Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a great show tonight. Honey, you want to say good night to the audience as we part for now? Yeah?
Yes, good night everyone. Thanks so much for being here. This is the Chike Onyia Speaks live talk show, where our goal is to change one life and one family at a time. And I'm glad to know that your life has been changed tonight by listening to us. Good night and God bless.
Good night.